Okay, let's dive in. If you're out there creating content, maybe for your business, maybe a personal brand,
Hmm.
or, even just something you're passionate about, you've probably felt this tension.
Hmm.
You put things, articles, videos, posts, you get some views, maybe some likes. Content is just everywhere. We're swimming in it.
Totally. And yet, the source material we're digging into today really flags this paradox right at the beginning. You've got all this creation happening, but for so many creators, so many businesses, actually building sustainable income, real influence, it's still surprisingly elusive.
Yeah, it's like having tons of puzzle pieces, but not knowing how they fit together.
Exactly. Like, why do some folks just knock it out of the park, turning content into a real venture, while others are kind of stuck on that hamster wheel chasing likes?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it?
Yeah.
And that's what our source is really getting into today.
Precisely. We're looking at excerpts from Monetizing Media, Turning Content into Revenue Streams. The author is Dr. Pooyan Ghamari. He is a Swiss economist and also the founder of the ALIN platform. And our mission here is to try and understand what he calls the architecture of monetization.
Architecture of monetization. I like that. Sounds solid, intentional.
Right. It's not about just hoping something goes viral. It's presented as a strategic process.
Right.
How do you take your media, your community, your specific knowledge, and actually turn it into value, into income?
So where does building this architecture even begin, according to the source? What's the foundation?
Well, it kicks off with a mindset shift, a pretty big one, actually. The source argues that for way too long, the conversation about making money online has been dominated by ads.
Yeah, banner ads, sponsorships, influencer stuff.
Yeah.
That's what comes to mind first for most people.
For sure. And look, the source says those methods are valid. They have their place. But, and this
Mm.
is key, they're also the most crowded spaces, the most commoditized, and usually the lowest margin ways to monetize. If that's all you rely on, you're in a really tough fight.
Okay, so if the advice is not just ads, what's the alternative? What's the stronger foundation in this architecture?
It's about owning that direct line to your audience, owning the relationship,
Right?
and then packaging your unique insights, your knowledge in a structured way, and really focusing on solving specific high-value problems for people who are actually willing to pay for that solution.
So shifting from selling eyeballs to advertisers.
To selling real value directly to your audience, your
So
most engaged people.
that definitely flips the script on the old media model.
Yeah.
You're saying the core value isn't just the audience size, but the relationship depth and the problem you solve.
That's the central argument, yeah.
Hmm.
And that leads us straight into what the source calls the digital gold mine.
Okay, I'm listening. What's the gold mine?
It's selling access to expertise, not just access to eyeballs.
Selling what you actually know.
Exactly. Things like online courses, detailed ebooks, paid newsletters with unique analysis, private communities where people pay to belong.
Information products.
That's the term. Taking your knowledge, giving it structure, and offering it straight to the people who need it most.
And the upside isn't just the cash from the sale itself, is it?
Oh, definitely not. It lets you serve your best audience segment directly. Often means much better profit margins because you're cutting out the middlemen.
Hmm.
And maybe the biggest thing, especially now, you control the customer experience. You own that relationship. You're not just hoping some platform algorithm connects you.
That control, that direct link feels huge for stability. Okay, so mindset shift. Dot, check. Focus on expertise in info products.
Yeah.
Check. How do we actually build it? You mentioned a 5-step blueprint.
Yep, this is the practical part. Step 1, and it's critical. Identify the top 3 information products your audience would actually buy.
Buy, not just consume for free. Why start there? Seems obvious, but maybe it's not.
Because sustainable money comes from alignment, deep alignment.
Mhm.
If what you're selling doesn't perfectly match a problem they really want solved and are willing to pay for, it just won't work. You can't just guess.
Right. So how do you figure that out? Avoid the guessing game.
The source gives some solid tactics. Survey your loyal followers. Ask them about their biggest challenges. Dig into your comments, your emails. What questions keep popping up?
Use the data you already have.
Exactly. Run simple polls testing interest in specific ideas, like, hey, would you be interested in a mini course on X? And definitely look at what your peers or competitors are successfully selling, what's already working out there.
That makes sense. Do your homework. The source mentioned an example with Ayland, right?
Yeah, their research showed investors specifically wanted step-by-step real estate guides, deep dives on regional legal stuff, and these exclusive mastermind calls. Very specific needs.
Defined problems, defined solutions.
Yeah.
Okay, got it. So you identified some hot candidates. What's step two?
Step 2, pre-sell a pilot product to your most engaged subscribers.
Pre-sell. Like sell it before it's even fully built. That sounds risky.
It might feel like it, but the source argues it's actually a de-risking strategy. It's the quickest way to see if people will actually pull out their credit cards for this idea before you spend weeks or months building it. Ah, okay. Validate with real money.
Yes. Plus, it helps fund the development. And you get immediate feedback from your first buyers to help shape the final thing.
Makes sense. How do you pitch something that doesn't fully exist yet?
Keep it simple. A clear pitch, maybe a basic landing page, maybe just an email outlining the transformation, the solution, offer early birds a special price, maybe some bonuses.
Incentive to jump in early.
Right. And the key is collecting payment or a solid commitment up front. That's your proof of real demand. Then you build it with those initial buyers.
That Ayland example, again, their first investor course was funded by the pre-sales, and those people became like case studies and cheerleaders. Smart.
Super smart. Okay, so that leads to step 3. Bundle your best insights as premium gated content.
Gated content, meaning not everything should be free.
Definitely not, according to this framework. Your really deep research, your unique frameworks, your step-by-step guides, special tools, that stuff has real value. Giving it all away can actually dilute that value.
So you package it up for your most dedicated followers. Exactly. The ones who are invested and see the value in curated, high-impact knowledge.
How do you decide what to gate and bundle?
Look back through your archives. What's evergreen? What solves recurring problems? Package those things up, downloadable guides, maybe an exclusive video library, a members-only forum.
And then put a price tag on access.
Yep. Use teasers or previews, maybe a limited free trial, to show the value and get people to upgrade. And the source also mentions keeping these bundles updated adds ongoing value.
I remember the note that bundled guides outsold individual reports for Ayland. People pay for convenience, for having it all organized.
Right, they're buying a curated solution, not just bits of information, which flows nicely into step 4. Partner with complementary brands for joint offers.
Partnerships. How does working with others fit into building your own thing?
It's about leverage. Partnerships can massively expand your reach, lower your costs to get new customers, and let you create really cool, valuable bundles you couldn't do alone.
Okay, but you need the right partners.
Absolutely. Brands or creators who serve a similar audience but aren't direct competitors. Think aligned, but different.
What would a joint offer look like?
Could be anything. Your course bundled with their software trial, your premium guide offered with access to their private webinar, you co-brand it, run a limited time promotion together, cross-promote to each other's lists.
And split the revenue or leads somehow.
Exactly. But you have to track it carefully, see what works. The Ayland example was bundling their economic briefings with a fintech partner's analytics tool. Apparently, it doubled conversions for both of them.
Wow, okay. That shows the power of finding the right fit. Win-win.
Definitely. Which brings us to the last step, number 5. Track conversions and scale successful revenue models.
Right, because this isn't a set it and forget it kind of deal.
Not at all. The source frames monetization as an evolving system. You have to measure what's working and what's not. Double down on the winners and pivot away from the losers, ruthlessly.
What metrics are most important beyond just the sales total?
Conversion rates on specific offers are huge. Upsell rates, refund rates, that tells you a lot about satisfaction. And for anything subscription-based, retention is absolutely critical.
And you need feedback too, right? Not just numbers.
Oh, yeah. Talk to your buyers, surveys, emails, calls. What did they love? What was missing? What else do they need help with? That feeds your next product idea.
So once you find something that's really clicking, a product or a bundle that sells well and people love,
Scale it intelligently. Maybe targeted ads, maybe an affiliate program so others can sell it for you, maybe syndication if the content fits.
and scaling means getting your operations tight too.
For sure, like Ayland automating their onboarding and support for their best products, that frees you up to create the next premium thing. It's about building a system.
It really shifts the focus. It's not just making content, it's building a content-driven business,
Yeah.
a real asset.
That's the core idea. And when you zoom out, the source points out some bigger economic impacts of doing this.
Like what? What are the broader advantages?
Well, first, it's about that direct-to-audience model. You bypass the gatekeepers, the platforms with their shifting rules, owning your list, your customer relationships. That's owning your destiny, basically.
Independence. That's huge.
It really is. Then there's recurring revenue, moving from unpredictable ad money or one-off sales to subscriptions or memberships. That smooths out cash flow, makes planning possible, and seriously boosts your business's value.
Predictability is gold for any business.
Totally. And think about global leverage. Digital products, you create them once, you can sell them worldwide with almost zero extra cost per sale. The reach is incredible.
Tapping into a global market with your expertise.
Exactly. And finally, doing all this, creating genuinely valuable premium stuff that people pay for builds massive brand authority. You become the trusted expert.
Which attracts more than just customers, right?
Right. It attracts better partners, maybe investors, media attention. It creates this positive feedback loop.
So it's a whole ecosystem built around expertise, not just eyeballs.
Mm-hmm.
Moving from that crowded, low-margin ad game
To building something solid, valuable, and yours, based on trust and solving real problems.
Okay, so wrapping this part up,
Mm.
the big shift is away from just chasing attention and ad dollars. It's towards owning audience relationships and packaging expertise.
Mm-hmm. And the path involves that clear 5-step process. Figure out what they'll buy, test it fast with pre-sales, bundle your best stuff behind a gate, partner up smartly, and then track everything to scale what works.
It's about intentionally building a system for predictable income, not just hoping for viral luck.
Precisely.
So for you listening,
It is-
right, how does this land? Think about your own situation, your content, your audience. What specific problem could you solve that people might actually pay good money for?
Yeah, what unique knowledge do you have that could become a valuable course or guide or community?
And taking it a step further, if the real goal here is that predictable revenue, that owned relationship for the long haul, what strategies come after these initial steps?
Right. How do you keep evolving? How do you ensure the system you build stays relevant and keeps growing year after year? That's maybe the deeper question that you on.